Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. We're just going to give everybody another minute or so, and then we'll get started. Great. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We appreciate you taking time out of your morning. So welcome to FSi's Navigating Microsoft's Licensing Changes webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. My name is Ryan Yeagle. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at FSi Strategies. I'm just going to cover a few housekeeping items before we begin. This session will be recorded and we will provide it to you just following the webinar. So you'll receive an email with a link to it, just in case you need to review or you need to share it with anybody on your team. We're going to take a pause twice throughout the webinar to address any questions. Within the GoToWebinar platform, you will find a questions section. Feel free to utilize that to ask any questions or alert me to any issues you may be having. I will be monitoring it throughout the webinar. I'd like to take a moment and introduce John Firth. John is the Vice President of Products and Cloud Strategy here at FSi Strategies. John's an expert of Microsoft technologies and licensing and works with FSi clients to strategically align technologies to your business goals. Thank you so much for joining us today, John.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to take a brief minute to talk about FSi Strategies. Sorry about those technical difficulties. We are a Microsoft Gold partner and Tier 1 CSP, that's Cloud Solutions Provider, that allows us to get licensing from Microsoft and resell it to our clients. We have 19 years experience in the managed service industry, and we focus on the user engagement. Our goal is to implement enterprise class systems that help engage users, accelerate their productivity and collaboration abilities, all while optimizing and protecting your environment. So what are we here to talk about today? We're going to talk about Microsoft's new commerce experience, but what is that? We're going to go into the changes and how they affect you. We're going to go over a timeline of events from March to June. We're going to then dive into subscription management and how it can be streamlined to ensure that you're getting the most out of the new commerce experience. And then, as Ryan stated, we're going to have 2 question sections near the end of this presentation. All right, let's get started. So what is the new commerce experience? Well, it is the simplified journey for both the customer and the partner to transact in a consistent and standardized purchase motion. What does that actually mean? It means that there's some changes to terms, pricing, and how subscriptions can be managed. I'm going to start by diving into the new pricing. So in the last 10 years, Microsoft hasn't changed pricing on any of the Office 365 SKUs. Since their inception, they've added new features and really not done much in the way of increasing the licensing. So this is the first time that they're going to be introducing a price increase. It's going to be between 5 and 20%, but not all SKUs are affected. As you can see at the bottom, Microsoft 365 E5 is not going to be affected by the new commerce experience. And depending on the other SKU, it may be anywhere from 5 to 20. It's not guaranteed, but if you reach out to your licensing provider, they can give you a more detailed breakdown of this. One thing to note, Microsoft's not at this time changing pricing for education, government, or nonprofits. While we are expecting changes, it's not in the near future. Terms are going to be changing as well. Typically, you would have a month-to-month contract with your licensing provider that would allow you to reduce or add licenses at any given time, or even cancel the subscription completely. The new terms are going to be month-to-month, annual contract with monthly payments, annual contract with yearly payments, and 3-year contracts, but that's only on select SKUs. Now you may be asking yourself, why would I go to an annual contract when I can continue to do a month-to-month contract? Well, Month-to-month contracts are going to receive a 20% increase over the price increase that you saw on the previous slide. You can use month-to-month contracts for seasonal employees or contractors when you know that they're not going to be around for a full year. One great thing about this is you can mix and match. Annual contracts can be mixed with monthly contracts, 3-year contracts with annual. 3-year contracts are on select offers because they're more based around things that are business oriented. Power Platform and Dynamics are typically adopted by an organization for a long term. So you can lock in your pricing by doing a 3-year contract up front. No new agreements are going to need to be signed for this. You'll only need to select the terms with your provider to ensure that your pricing stays consistent. Subscription management and making changes to subscriptions is going to change a little bit too. You'll no longer be able to reduce mid-contract or cancel mid-contract. This was something that was accessible before, but it will not be accessible in the future unless you're doing a month-to-month contract. So annual, you purchase that for 1 year at a time and there's no reduction, but month-to-month can be flexible. That is why there's an additional 20% on top of it. You can upgrade any of your licenses mid-cycle, whether they're annual or monthly. You can actually even take a monthly license and convert it into an annual license. There will be no fees for canceling a license early if it's month to month, and there is no fee to upgrade a license. If you need a little bit more information about subscription management, you can reach out to your licensing provider, and they should be able to give you a little bit more detail surrounding that. Now, when are all these changes going into effect? Well, it's actually kind of soon. March 10th is kind of the deadline for being able to lock in your previous pricing. If you reach out to your licensing provider before this day, you should be able to ensure that your pricing stays consistent for at least 1 year, allowing you to get budgetary cycles in place. The next big date to know is June. In June, you're no longer going to be able to add licenses to legacy subscriptions. Now, this does not affect the pricing between March and June. If you don't do this before March 10th, then your pricing will increase. There are some caveats to that. If you've already paid up front for an annual license, that won't occur until your next renewal. The big thing here is to get it done before March 10th to secure your pricing for 1 year. I know that I went through a lot of information there, and if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Now, subscription management is a really big deal here. The changes are going to go into effect very shortly. When are you going to know about this? Well, changes to your pricing should be shown on your next billing statement. You can reach out to your licensing provider if you don't see those, because they should be there. No changes to licensing or features are going to occur though, meaning all of the wonderful features that you've had for years with Microsoft 365 are going to continue to be there. There's no reduction in service. Once again, the best way to find out any more information about this is to reach out to your provider. If you don't have a provider, feel free to reach out to FSi Strategies. And there's a couple easy ways to do that. You can put it in the chat right now. You can go onto our website and fill out the Contact Us form, or call or email us. We're more than willing to help. I'm going to take this time and stop and ask a couple questions or receive a couple questions.
Okay, John, let me check here. The first one is, will the call be recorded? Yes, the call will be recorded, and we will send over an email following the session with a link to it. So you'll be able to review it and share it if you need to. Okay, I do have a couple more that came in, John. The first one is going to be, do I have to make the switch over to the new commerce experience?
So you will have to make the switch. This will be coming at the end of your term. Like I said, by June, you'll no longer be able to purchase new licensing under your old subscription. So yes, unfortunately, these changes are going to be enforced.
Okay. All right, another one is, will the nonprofit sector be affected?
So at this time, Microsoft is not increasing the pricing for the nonprofit sector. I would look out for more information from us because we will do another webinar if those changes do occur.
Great, great. All right, we already talked about, somebody asked, is there someone on your team that we can speak to about our pricing and how this will impact our monthly billing? I'll just reiterate what John said. You can reach out to us. We'll be happy to assist. You can either indicate that in the chat or you can go to our website through the Contact Us portal. And another one came in. If our agreement doesn't renew until October 2022, do we pay the old rate through the contract term?
Unfortunately, the prices will change, and the best way to ensure that the prices don't change is to reach out to your licensing provider before that March 10th deadline and lock in your pricing for the next 12 months.
Okay, and then we have another one that just popped up. I thought I heard that you cannot add a subscription until after June, but can we add users?
If you have the licensing there, you can add a user because that has nothing to do with the licensing. This is strictly around licensing and not features. But if you need to purchase a new license for a new user, that will require you going through the new commerce experience.
Great. All right. And two more that I have currently. Will these changes affect E5 pricing?
These changes are not going to be affecting the Microsoft 365 E5 SKU. However, they will be affecting the other E5 SKU, which is just Office.
Great. And if we sign up now for an annual license, do we get the old pricing?
Yes, as long as you do that before March 10th, you can lock in the old pricing for 1 year.
Wonderful. Great. And that's all I have for now. If any other questions pop up, we'll be stopping again towards the end, so feel free to put them in the chat.
Great. Thanks again, Ryan.
Thanks.
So navigating these changes can be hard, and we know that. But your licensing provider should be able to help. And there are a few ways that we're going to review in which they can help you out. First is consultation and optimization. If you have a licensing provider that you've worked with before, you can reach out to them and they should be able to go through and review all of the SKUs that you're paying for and ensure that you're utilizing all of those features. They should be able to do a cost analysis and make sure that your licensing match what you're using. And if you're not, they should be able to recommend a new license that does fit your needs. Some providers may offer a training portal. This would allow your users to go through and train on all of the different features in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem to better utilize them if they're not. Once again, reaching out to your licensing provider will be the best way to ensure that you're buying the correct licenses. Another great thing that can help is Microsoft certified staff. Not only are they great for level 1 support, but they're also knowledgeable about the changes coming to licenses. They can help you migrate to the new commerce experience, ensure that it's done as smooth as possible. If changes do need to be made that they can't do, they should have priority support from Microsoft. This also helps in the event that a serious issue occurs within your Microsoft environment. Tier 1 cloud solutions providers have what's called advanced support for partners. This is a dedicated escalation manager, a faster response time, and better SLAs on any issues that occur within your environment. You can ask your provider and find out if they have this level of support from Microsoft. And the last thing that I'm going to dive into is a licensing portal. Being able to utilize a licensing portal can help you optimize cost management, stay on top of licensing, check on renewal dates and contract terms, and even do things such as reset user passwords, assign licenses, or remove licenses. Today, I'm going to show you a quick demo of what our CSP portal looks like. Also, Ryan will be distributing a video that goes into this, and you can watch it and follow along or save it for later viewing. In the licensing portal, you should have a couple things. One, it should be easy to access and use and manage. Ours uses a simple sign-on experience using Office 365 credentials. We provide it free to all of our CSP clients, and it gives us security controls. allowing us to give just finance billing access, just administrators the ability to assign licenses, and just admins the ability to give other permissions out. If anybody needs help with this, please feel free to reach out, as the licensing portals can really streamline operations within your own organization. Our portal also offers a shop. This allows you to navigate different license SKUs by term duration, billing cycles, even consumption type if you're using Azure or Power Platform. As you can see here, most of our things are tagged with the new commerce experience, as this will be the only licensing that you can purchase in the future. Another great feature is it allows you to see the products that you've already purchased. You can manage those products and even dive into your Office 365 portal directly from this. Now, you can see that we have a lot of different SKUs in here for Azure AD and Microsoft 365 apps, and it's transparent pricing, so you know what you're doing up front based on the term commitment length. Another great feature that finance loves is invoice and payments. You can look through all of your past invoices and even make payments depending on if your licensing provider offers it. These invoices can be downloaded and used, or even looked through in the consultation and optimization to ensure that you're purchasing the right licensing. Another great feature is consumption reporting. Consumption reporting allows you to go through and actually see if the licenses are being assigned and if they're unused. In the event that you're on a month-to-month contract and you have unused licensing, our portal allows you to go through and true up your licensing by clicking the button under Actions. This would, on the first line, change that total from 29 to 28 to ensure that you're only paying for what you're using. I'm going to open this up and have you guys ask a couple more questions.
Great, John. Let me see what's coming in here. All right, so I do have a couple. Is this portal a Microsoft provided, or is it provided by our CSP?
So this is not provided by Microsoft. It should be provided by your licensing provider.
Okay. Is there any other features we can take advantage of on our license portal?
So there are some great features, such as being able to reset passwords and even go in and add and remove licenses from an individual user. And depending on your portal, you can even see licensing reports on a per user basis.
Great. One more here. It has been asked, can finance have access to the billing portion?
Yes, finance can have access just to the billing portion so that they can go in, look at previous invoices, and pay current ones.
Great. All right, well, that's all I'm seeing. If there's any other questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We can either answer them now, or we can answer them after. I appreciate your time, John, presenting. I hope you all found it very educational, and we will be sending a recording just following. Oh, one more question just popped in. Do we have any issues working globally?
It depends on the licensing and where you're purchasing from. There are restrictions on licensing and which country you're trying to purchase them out of.
Yeah, and we can follow up just following this to address the specific question. So I'll be reaching out to you. Great. Well, thank you everybody for your time. I really appreciate you joining us. Watch your email for a recording of the session, and we hope you have a wonderful day.